Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Purity. Newcomers, you're so welcomed. Please remember to subscribe. Today we are crocheting this beautiful scarf. It's really easy to do this, and this scarf is worn by both male and females. This is how it looks. It's long enough to be worn by both genders, and it's so easy to create it. This is how the back looks. And if you haven't watched the tutorial on this cardigan I'm wearing, kindly do so. So let's start with the work. I'm using acrylic yarn. This is thin yarn, but I'll suggest you use chunky yarn for your scarf to be much warmer. I'm just using this yarn because I don't have chunky yarn, but I suggest you use chunky yarn. We are using a 4.5 mm hook, a pair of scissors, and a tape measure for this project. Okay, because I'm using thin yarn, we will double the yarn. To begin, as I said, I'm doubling the yarn to get the medium effect, and to begin we'll do a slip knot. Okay, that's how I do my slip knot, and we are chaining 42 chains. That will be our foundation chain. I'm done with my 42 stitches, and we are working on the bean stitch now. Skip the first stitch, go to the second stitch and do a single crochet. This is how we do a single crochet. Then yarn over and go into the same space. Kindly make sure your work is not tight, it should be loose. Yarn over, and we'll have 4 loops like that. Yarn over and pull through all the 4, then chain 1. That is our first bean stitch. Skip the next stitch, go to the next one, do a single crochet like that, then yarn over and go to the same space like that. Yarn over, you'll have 4 loops in your hook. Yarn over all the 4 and chain 1. Skip the next stitch, go to the next one and do a single crochet. Skip that one, go to the next, do a single crochet like that, then yarn over, go to the same space, yarn over, you'll have 4 loops, pull through, yarn over and pull through all the 4, then you chain 1. That is how we are doing the bean stitch, and we will do that up to the end. This is how my work looks. I'm at the end, and your work should look like this. We want to begin on row 2. To begin row 2, we will always chain 2. I had already chained 1 because we closed the bean with chaining 1, but let me remove and begin a new row. chain the first one, the second one, turn your work. To begin row 2, we have these two spaces here, the first one and this second one, these two small spaces. We'll always work on this first small space, this one. That is where we put our bean stitch. Go in there, put a single crochet, yarn over, go in the same space, and you'll have 4 loops. Pull through all the 4, chain 1. Go to the second space. Remember, we're working on the small little space, okay? And we're doing the same bean stitches that we've been doing all through until the end, but this time you're working on the first small space, okay? Do that and I'll meet you at the end of your work. I'm at the end of my row and we have this space at the end here, and always remember to put your last bean stitch here. If you don't do that, your scarf will not be straight. Go in there, that is the last bean stitch you'll be putting there for your work to be straight, like that. And we are chaining 2. Turn your work. We begin on row 3. Remember, we are working on the small little space, the first space, just after we've been the first space. That's what we are working on, and we'll put our bean stitch there. That way, always remember to chain 1 to finish your bean stitch. Go to the next space and put a bean stitch, and typically that's the pattern, and we are going to work that way until the end, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm at the end, and this is how my work looks. A bean stitch is a very beautiful stitch. Always remember to put a stitch in the last chain. We're beginning another row. I had chain 1, that was the second chain. You turn your work, and remember we're working on the first space after the bean stitch. And that is our pattern, and we are going to work like that until you get to a length of 72 inches. If you want a scarf as long as mine, you're going to work up to 72 inches, but you can make a shorter version depending on what you like. That is how we work with the bean stitch. Very simple. Just remember to always chain 1 after you're done, and that is it. So see you at the end. I'm working on an illustration. This is where I will stop, but kindly make your scarf long to 72 inches for those who want a scarf long as mine. Now we want to work on these tassel fringes at the bottom. These tassel fringes, I want to show you guys how I put them, and then we will be done. As I said, this tutorial is going to be short and very easy. Once you're done, you'll cut off your yarn, and now we want to put the tassel fringes. We will put our fringes at the beginning of our work where we started and at the end where we stopped. And this is how the sides of your work should look. It should have this zigzag thing going on like that, because we'll not put edging. That's why I told you guys your work should be straight. It has its own edging. Now to put the tassels, we are going to measure the string. You can put a long one or a short one depending on what you like. I like medium sized, and this is the size I go with. So I will cut my yarn this size, and I'll make as many as possible to fit on my scarf. Okay, now I want to put my first fringe, and you're working with a couple of yarn. Make sure you pick a couple of yarn like that, and you're going to fold it into two. Make sure it's in the middle, and we'll put it on our scarf like this. Let me show you. Remember, we are working at the beginning and the end, only the sides is okay. So we will work on each stitch. Take your hook, insert your hook on the stitch like that. Make sure your couple of yarn is in the middle, and we just pull through like that. Once you're done, make sure your knot is tight enough. Tighten your knot. Go to the second stitch, insert your hook, take your couple of yarn, make sure it's in the middle, and pull it through. Oops, I pulled one. So make sure you pull both of them like that. Pull through, and then you'll chain. Sorry, you'll make sure it's tight enough by just pulling it like that. That's how you're going to put our fringes up to the end. And we will put fringes on both sides the same way, and I'll meet you once you're done. I'm done putting my fringes, and I went ahead and cut off the longer ones, so all of them should be of the same height. And this is how my small scarf looks like. The longer the better. This is how the bean stitch has come through. The edging at the sides looks like that. Remember, there's no edging. The edging is the fringes. Please make sure your work is straight to have a beautiful scarf. And this is how the scarf looks. I hope you really enjoy this tutorial. And this is how the scarf looks on me. Kindly remember to subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment. I'll see you at the comments section. This is the 72 inches scarf. I used chunky yarn. You use chunky yarn if you want your scarf to be much warmer. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.